When you're doing something for the sake of Allah, I feel like we're breaking barriers. This is bigger than neighborhoods. It's bigger than who you know. It's something that is for hereafter.
The younger generation, I was them. I was trying to figure out my life, but the difference between me and them is I never had me. You can't look at me and tell me a 15, 16-year-old to crash out. That guy didn't live life.
Welcome back to Two and a Half Mollies.
2.5 mollies.
This is not an embassy special. We're gonna keep it like the lights,
Mm-hmm.
the cameras. We have Yusuf over here.
Let's just cover that up.
We have the Somali drums. You know what I mean? But we have our lovely guest Allah, all the way from Toronto, Ontario, and we're in Ottawa, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
How was that 4-hour drive?
It was light work. I'm not gonna lie.
Have you
Light
been to
work?
Ottawa before?
I spent my summers in Ottawa growing up.
Okay.
Yeah, like every single summer I was on the easy ride.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
Yeah, 100%.
But Allah came all the way here to help feed the fasting, right?
Yep.
And it was amazing. Like I came there, me and Yusuf came there. We were not expecting much, and we just see like mad people coming in, right? And then this is the funny part. We were just sitting around, and then I'm not gonna lie to you, when you came in, you had aura. You came in with like a Power Ranger with a smile for Sache thing.
The whole crew, everybody had the sweaters on.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just said, yo, what do I have to, what order do I have to follow right now? You know what I mean?
100%.
But mashallah, it was really great. We fed like 100 plus people.
Mm-hmm.
We broke their fast, and it felt really amazing to come together as a community.
Absolutely.
And your organization does a lot, but we'll get to that later.
Mm-hmm.
But first of all, how you doing? How's today?
Alhamdulillah, today is good. I feel like when you do something for the sake of Allah, it just goes smoothly because we had so many people in the room. We had so much going on, and it was a vibe. And you know what was really cool? Not a lot of people knew each other.
Yeah.
And now everybody met each other, and it's for the sake of Allah.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, that's a vibe for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna lie to you. Even though Ottawa's a small town, I didn't recognize most people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just looked at Yusuf and I was like, I know this guy at least. You know what I mean?
I realized that. I'm like, oh, they don't know each other.
But you know, the thing is that I felt really, like I started feeling really comfortable, like right off the bat. You know, like that's going to what Ismail was talking about earlier about you commanding the room. I felt like, first of all, like it wasn't just aura, it was experience, you know? So coming into the experience, like coming into the situation, I kind of felt like I already knew what to do. I seen a random person on my left, a random person on my right, but it was obviously for the sake of Allah, right? So we're all doing this for the sake of Allah. So it was a lot easier, if that makes sense. Meeting new people, talking to different people, working at different stations.
Yep.
You know, so it was a really good
Yeah,
experience.
especially after COVID, there's not much stuff like this. You know what I mean? And then coming outside, and I was like, whoa, this is real community right here. You know what I mean? And that was lovely. You know?
Absolutely.
No, I'm glad because I remember what it's like walking into the room not knowing anybody. So when I'm in these positions to greet people, I'm going to say hi to every person. I'm going to salam them. I'm going to say thank you for coming. And I'm going to just like make them feel included because it's so hard leaving your house trying to do something. So if you are coming out to a space like this for the sake of Allah, all these other people did it too.
Absolutely.
So it's kind of like we're all here for the same intention. So everybody has the same like intention and vibe. So I'm glad.
Absolutely. So we're talking a little bit about Smile for Sache. You know, that's something that I didn't know even like a couple months ago. I heard about it. The first thing I actually seen was the sweater. And I was like,
Really?
wow, this is a really nice sweater. Like, I liked that a lot. So I asked the person that was wearing it, I was like, what is this? Like, you know, I want to find a way to get the sweater. And the person was kind of talking to me about the program. I don't want to talk too much about it. I'd love for you to kind of speak a little bit about it. The process of starting it, you know, like that's something that I felt like hearing the story myself. I was very like, I was intrigued, and I want other people to have the privilege of hearing your story and hearing Smile for Sache, you know? So, you know, we want to give you a chance to kind of speak about it.
Thank you. So we started Smile for Sache 4 years ago, and it's in commemoration of my younger brother who was murdered due to gun violence. So
SubhanAllah.
subhanAllah, during COVID in June, he was walking towards his car and he was shot over 30 times.
SubhanAllah.
And
Allah naharista.
I found out through watching CP24. So I was just watching CP24, me and my older brother, and we seen a white BMW shot.
That's a new, by the way, CP24 is a news channel, right?
News
Okay.
channel. Is it in Ottawa as well?
No.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it is. This is in the gas stations and stuff. Like,
Okay.
I watch it.
Yeah, I don't even know.
It's one of our like main news platforms. So I was watching it and I saw a white BMW. I walked into his room. He wasn't there. I called him. His phone was off. So I just got ready because I'm like, coming from Toronto, you need to be on high alert, high guard, and like overly aware of things. So as much as there's so many white BMW, because my brother wasn't in his room and because I saw it online, I had to go. So I drove to the scene. I asked the investigators, is it a 2-door, is it a 4-door? Like, does he have big hair? Is it in a ponytail? Like, can you tell me who it is? After a while, they came, they showed me his ID, and I found out it was my younger brother. So I had to go home, subhanAllah, and tell my mom that she lost her youngest son. And that was the way that I found out. And after the police told us, they found $200 in his pocket. So they said, oh, why does he have $200? Why does he have this car? So instead of me going on the news and talking about my story, I was like, let me just make a little GoFundMe. Even though, like, I don't really know too much about that, but I was like, I don't want to go on the news and tell my story right now. I don't want to talk about this. So I wrote the GoFundMe. I told the story, and within 3 days, we raised over $100,000.
Wow.
SubhanAllah. So it's a testament to who he was, like, what he stood for, and how our community came together. So that's how we kind of started Smile for Sache. My mom ended up building a school in Somalia, fixing the farm, and doing these things. And then that's when I was like, okay, let's do small things. And I know we do Feed the Fasting now, but it started off by doing like little care packages of food and going downtown with all of like our friends and family and giving it out to people in need. And that was like our first initiative. So that was, I guess, the birth of Smile for Sache.
I kind of talked about it a little bit about your character kind of coming in and you feeling so open, or is that something that you always kind of felt like? Were you always so open? And I feel like you were very outgoing. For like Ismail kind of mentioned, it was like bubbly right off the point, right? Like, everybody, hi guys, 2.5 mollies over here. You know what I mean? That was the first thing I can remember, you know? So were you always that outgoing? Is that something that, you know?
In my friend group.
Okay.
In my friend group, I was always outgoing, but I never branched off to different neighborhoods. I never like really knew a lot of people. I met people now after all the work I've been doing, but I feel like after doing this work and putting myself out there, I had to push myself to put myself out there.
Okay.
Like, I wasn't, for the first 2 years of Smile for Sache, I didn't show my face.
Wow.
I did not show my face because I was scared. Because I was like, what are people going to think of me? Always thinking about what are people going to think? How are people going to view me? Because I'm like, still a sensitive girl.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a girl, you know? So I was a little nervous about that. And then my friend Shamsi was like, you need to put yourself out there.
Absolutely.
You need to tell your story because no one's going to tell it for you. And I did that. And since I've been doing that, so many doors have been opening. So many things have been just getting easier for me because I put myself out there. That's why when I come to people, I try to be bubbly. I try to be vibrant because I'm like, what's the worst that can happen?
Absolutely.
You know, like putting myself out there, what's the worst that can happen? Allah put me in this position for a reason. So let me take advantage of the people I meet, of the resources that I have. I always try to help people. Like today I was asking little girls, I'm like, do you have your community hours? Are you in high school? Because I'm like, why not? You know, like I want to be that person that I needed. So
are you mostly involved with like just youth work? Because a lot of times like the different programs that I do see, it's youth based. Like I seen there was a very popular thing that I seen going around like specific guys in Ottawa, where it was the PlayStation commercial.
Oh, you
with
seen
the
that?
Raptors. Wow, that was fire.
Really?
That was
When
fire.
I seen that, I was like, if I was a kid in that commercial, that my dreams are come true. I was a heavy PlayStation
I'm with
guy,
RJ
you know
Barrett
what I mean?
over here. You know what I mean? That would have been a dream come true for me. So like I kind of mentioned before, is it just youth work or is there other programs that you have?
We do have our Mother's Retreat.
Okay.
So that's kind of, we started that before the youth work because I actually went through something like this. We have a retreat where we take moms up north and give them like a self-care weekend. So we bring acupuncture, massage therapist, chef, psychotherapist.
How long is this whole process like?
It's about 3 days.
Wow, okay.
Hopefully we can do more, inshallah. But we bring moms that their sons passed away from gun violence up north. And, you know, our moms haven't had a time to go to a cottage. They've been raising children for so long. So we kind of give them the space to just vibe out. They do the drums. they're singing. They're going to sauna. They're having a time.
Absolutely.
So that's something we want to continue doing. We just have to work on funding and stuff.
Okay.
But
I like that a lot because you forget that your parents are people too. And I think there's a quote that said, it's your first time your parents are living their life. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, this is their first go around too,
100%.
right now. Sometimes you look at your parent like it's a robot type of thing. Like, they always say the same things. They, you know, advise you. They want the best for you. But at sometimes you just, that's what I like about the Mother's Retreat, because we talk a lot about like gun violence and, you know, amongst the youth, but then the people who get most affected by it are the mothers, right?
100%.
And then that's one thing that stood out to me is that I saw it a couple of years ago where you guys did a mother retreat, and I was like, wow, that's actually sick because you're looking at things from a different angle. Because a lot of like funding comes from
It's just for the youth.
from the youth, like get more gyms, like gyms. And then the mom that, you know, both of her sons died within, like, I heard some stories where the mom is saying, I didn't even have time to grieve over my first son, and then my second son died. So, you know, it's crazy. Like, that's a crazy take.
SubhanAllah, that mom specifically, she was sad when she first came to the retreat. She was not talking. She was quiet. By the third day, she had red lipstick. She said, hold my bag. She was like so happy. And she's like, you don't understand. Like, I have been like at home for so long. Like, I don't have a strong relationship with my kids anymore because I'm grieving, you know? So we need to give these parents a chance to just be themselves, to kind of just relax, to psychotherapists. Our culture go to therapy, you know? So we had a psychotherapist that was like Kenyan Somali. So we had moms journaling at 6 a.m. after Fajr.
That's a sight.
That is, we made it in life. Like, that's that for me, you know? But
How did they like it after they like went through that whole thing?
They loved it. Other moms, first of all, they come back to me all the time. Like, we want to go back. When I see them in public, they're like, our daughter, we love you. And I'm like, hey, Hava. But even other moms want to come. Now the other moms are like, we need it too. We have 7 kids. We've never experienced something like that. So it's just not moms that pass away from gun violence. We want to expand this to just mothers in general, because they really are like the backbone of our whole community. You know, and we look at our moms. We're not giving them grace. You know, we're just taking them for, oh, they're our mom. You know, they're just saying these things to us, but really they are everything.
Absolutely.
You know, so giving back to our moms, that's how we help our kids, because that's who's talking to the kids at home. You know.
So that's just one of the programs that you offered was through Smile for Sache.
Yeah.
I actually seen last year, I don't know if you had it the previous years before that, but there was big basketball tournament with all these different college players.
Yes.
So first of all, Smile for Sache has, you know what I mean? It's around. Everybody knows about it at this point.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? So there's the basketball tournament that I did hear about. And then, like I kind of mentioned about the commercial, but is there any other like kind of programs that are upcoming for Smile for Sache?
Definitely. I think this year is going to be a little bit different. We're going to try to do more programs. We have our National Gun Violence Awareness Community Picnic that we had with like over 500 people. We got some things planned. I think this year we're going to work on more like capacity building just so that we can sustain these things. But the tournament, the basketball tournament, we had Ottawa team come out.
Oh, I know a lot of guys that were actually playing on that team.
Yeah, because you know what? I'm like, we need to do like high level basketball so we can continue doing like young boy basketball.
Yeah.
So we had all these college boys come out and it was a vibe. All of them were like, they didn't think it was gonna be competition. Like they came there, thought they were gonna eat it up. No, there was a lot of boys.
There was a lot.
I was on the mic and then I gave it to my friend after. I gave it to Sherwa after, and I was like, I can't do it no more. They're like, why aren't you calling us by our name? I'm like, you're number 7. That's your name right now.
So right now, for example, for the viewers who don't know, right now you're going on a are you going
World tour.
semi-world tour?
Yeah, we're on an international feed the capacity tour.
Capacity.
Yes.
You're on your way to Minnesota. By this time's out. I think by the time
this
this is
time
out, you're in Minnesota.
100%.
You know
Oh yeah.
So right now you have a lot of support, but I'm assuming, and from what I heard about Toronto, I heard that sometimes people don't support each other. Was it always like this? Did you always have support, or did sometimes you come in, walking in, and it was not like today? You just see maybe one person, and you're just like, damn.
So Feed the Fasting started in my living room. So it was just an idea of 30 meals for 30 days. I had a bunch of people cook. I had my neighbors, I had my friends' moms, just prepare meals. And then on the 5th day of making food, I was like, let's do it for other people. So I started doing research on all the boys that passed away from gun violence. And I started reaching out to their family members. And I'm like, hey, can we do sadaqah on behalf of your brother, your cousin? And they're like, yeah, like we didn't think anyone was going to think about them. This is like, they passed away 7 years ago. We didn't know people would think about them again. I'm like, yeah, we are thinking about them, you know? So we did get a lot of support, I'm not gonna lie, because it was something that included everybody. That's the thing, people aren't included in stuff. If you're not included, you're not gonna support. But if you're included, then why wouldn't you support,
Everybody's
you know?
gonna give their full support.
And as much as Toronto is like a kind of pretentious city and stuff, like when you're doing something for the sake of Allah, I feel like we're breaking barriers. We're not in that ball game because it's bigger than that. This is bigger than neighborhoods. It's bigger than who you know. It's something that is for hereafter. So because I feel like we're doing something that is in this like realm, we get the support.
So Alad, just to circle back, I remember I was thinking about it when you're explaining your story about your brother. SubhanAllah, may Allah have mercy on him.
Ameen.
I was thinking about it, and I was like, it's so crazy that, first of all, this situation happens to a lot of people, and unfortunately, our community, Somali community, it happens a lot in Toronto, right? It happens a lot, sometimes in Ottawa even, and a lot in America. And it happened to a lot of people. But you took that grief and you transformed it into something positive. How was that process for you?
It wasn't easy for sure. And I feel like I could have taken 2 different routes. Like, no one would have ever been mad if I just stayed at home and never came out again, you know? But I thought about how amazing he was, how nice he was, how he didn't get to reach his full potential. And I was like, I want to continue doing something for him. Because you see people leave legacies for their loved ones. Like, people will build trees. They'll make like so many things. They'll make hallways in universities, you know? So when he first passed away, he was going to Toronto Metropolitan University and he wanted to go to the law school. So right away I was like, I need to do something for him. I don't have bread for building a hallway, but I could create a scholarship. So I've been doing that for 4 years now. But I feel like I could have taken 2 routes. I could have stayed home, crashed out, just been sad girl, but I put all my faith in Allah. You know? I said, if he put me through this, then there's a bigger picture. And I also feel like everybody goes through hardships, and this isn't going to be my only hardship. So I can't use this to define my whole life in a negative way. So I think that's why I decided to take the other route. And alhamdulillah, I did.
Speaking on the other route, you know, and starting up with this program, a lot of people have the thought of starting up a nonprofit, starting up programs for the youth. They have a lot of problems with getting kids to come, specifically in Ottawa, because I work a lot with youth myself. So for somebody like me who's starting a program like that, like what type of advice would you give?
You know, I would just say keep doing it and don't listen to what anyone has to say. And also find things that you would want as a kid. Like when we had some of our programs, like we got all of them Air Forces.
Wow.
You know, it was hard.
White or black?
White, obviously.
I'll be honest, black is not that bad though.
Black is
White.
something else.
White, obviously. We're not stealing here. But I knew I wanted to give them that, and I tried to get some donations. I tried so hard. So I ended up going on Kijiji and finding them for like $100, you know?
Wow.
So I'm just trying to do things that I know is lit. I know is cool. Like even with the PlayStation commercial, we just had our youth audition for it. And when we came there was like 15 kids, but our kid got a role because we came in with the vibes. We came in with the aura. So they literally were like, oh, these kids are dope, you know?
Yeah.
But it's like stuff like that. You need to really just think about things that you would want as a kid and try to do that. So if it's like you're having a basketball program, go find some like college basketball players, you know?
Yeah.
And bring a bunch of kids and be like, yo, this is what you could do, you know? That's what I think is like the vibe. If you know people that work places, I went to school for marketing, so I use every single one of my resources. The Mother's Retreat, I knew that acupuncture girl, I knew the psychotherapist. When I'm doing all these programs, I'm reaching out to people that I know, my network, and I don't care about asking for stuff. When you're doing things for kids, you have to realize that it's not for you. You should have no shame. If you want something, go ask for it.
Yeah, that's the hard part. I'll be honest.
Don't have no shame. I have no shame asking for stuff. If I'm asking for me,
Yeah.
I'll never do it. But I'll do it for all these kids.
Yeah.
And I'll do it with a smile on my face. And someone even asked me, like, why are you so confident asking us for stuff? I'm like, because it's not for me. I'm not getting no bread. I'm not getting no recognition. It's literally for the kids.
Benefit, the benefit of the
So
youth.
just think about outside the box. Send emails. Go rogue. We have Lush as our sponsor for the past 3 years.
Wow.
You know, they send boxes and boxes of stuff.
Of bath bombs.
Yes, if I had more space, I would have brought it here to Ottawa. But like, shoot your shot. And you'll get stuff. Like, go reach. You guys have the Ottawa government here. I'll be knocking on their door. It's okay. Everyone works for them.
Yeah.
Everybody's like,
You guys have somebody. You guys have somebody that works in every single department. So just reach out.
You know, the thing is, with speaking about Ottawa specifically, I feel like there's a lot of different programs out there dedicated for youth, whether it's sports space, art space, things like that. But the biggest problem, I feel like, for us is, as a community, we don't support each other with coming out to different events. Like, I'll give you an example. The other week, there was a Somali showcase for different businesses. You remember that?
Somali women.
Yes, it wasn't just women. But it was just all businesses in general. And the turnout was pretty good. I was surprised. but the fact that like it was like less than 100 people.
Really?
You know what I mean? It wasn't that many people. So like I think that's the biggest problem for Ottawa is there's a lot of different programs going on, but not a lot of people are going. And I feel like it's maybe the support factor. People don't necessarily support each other. Whereas when I go to Toronto and I see all these different events like Small for Sache basketball tournament, I'm wondering like, how do I do something like that?
You can do it. Yeah. Bring us out. We'll come. You know, like you just have to literally shoot your shot. And if you know someone, like let's say you know Abdurrahman, you invite him. You have to sometimes use your clout. And not that you have to, but sometimes you have to pull on these strings and you're going to bring people out and then the kids are going to respect you. Now, I don't even tell kids what we're doing. Like I messaged our group chat for the boys and I was like, yo, open gym, we're going to run ball. We had a whole Raptors commercial.
Wow.
You know, we just got our grant for the Raptors and I didn't tell them because I'm like, I want to see if they're actually going to do it for the sake of doing it or if they're going to, the love of the game.
Okay.
So sometimes you don't tell them what you're doing, you just invite them and then slowly people are going to be like, oh, we have to come because we don't know what to expect. So you just literally reach out to whoever you know. Think big. I DM people. I message people all the time. No naharis. I don't care. I'm literally none. And he literally old me would have never. I was always so scared. And you go to places.
I can't believe that. Like I can't see that.
Yeah,
I can't see it.
I stayed in my neighborhood. I just met everybody like 2 years ago. I just stepped outside 2 years ago.
You're a good kid.
I stayed at home, you know? But honestly, it's just using your network,
and
using your friends' networks, reaching out to people, because everybody knows we're all 6 degrees of separation. Everybody knows somebody. So you just pull on all of those resources and you create things. Like for these things, invite all the ballers. Why do you think I did the basketball tournament? It was like a marketing scheme. I was like, I'm going to bring every single college baller in the city. So when we do stuff in basketball later, they're going to be like, oh, we trust them. The moms, I brought all the moms for the mother's retreat. So we had like a way to talk to the kids. If we're not close with the moms, we can't talk to the kids.
The moms are telling the kids go.
They're letting them go now. They're like, oh, those people, yeah. Even people that didn't even come to our stuff is like, oh, they took the moms. We trust them. So you just try to do things like I can help you. So,
no, just to expand on his point, like when I go to Toronto, I think like Ottawa's like a baby version of it. So for example, like shout out to like Yassine, for example, Shoot for Peace is a big thing. You know, Smile for Sache. There's Say Somali. So we look at that as inspiration and like be trailblazers here. You know what I mean? So you guys are really a big inspiration for
absolutely
for us over here.
Inshallah, it's gonna go well for you.
We
guys.
need a Small for Sache like base here in Ottawa.
I would love.
We need somebody to organize it, to do something related to like a program or different programs
This guy's
here.
smiling a lot right now.
I don't know about you.
I think you should do it.
It might be a foreshadowing, huh?
We can do it. I swear to God, like it's doable.
Absolutely,
it's doable and it's attainable.
A lot of our viewers are not from Toronto. They don't understand it. They're like America, Australia, everything.
Okay.
Explain a little bit on top of that, like the dynamic. Like we're talking about Toronto like it's a zoo right now.
Yeah.
Like, some people are watching this and they say, well, "What is this place?" You know what I mean? I thought like Drake's from here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
that's all they know.
That's all they know. So like maybe also add on like a little background story.
Well, we have a lot of different neighborhoods, but I think I have someone else that would be better fit to, explain it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'd love to
So this is our program director for our boys program, Sherwa.
Absolutely.
Welcome to the chat.
I mean, I feel like I have seen myself somewhere too, but you know what I mean? Today I'm here.
It's not about you. It's
Yeah,
about
today
Allah
I'm here supporting Allah, you know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Okay.
The one.
And you guys have, right now, I've just been sitting here watching you guys and listening, and you know what I mean? Right beside me is my goat. You know what I'm saying? So I'm happy to be here.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys for, giving me the opportunity.
I was kind of talking about like this is something I've been always wondering too, and a lot of the guests have been hearing Toronto all the time. Like Ismail said, there's like a lot of different conversations about gun violence. So for somebody who might not necessarily know too much about Toronto, you want to kind of speak about your experience growing up in Toronto, how it was, the people there, because for someone like from us, like we live 5 hours away, you know what I mean? We hear the stories, but for somebody on the camera, they don't know what's going on in Sweden or in Norway. Like, you gotta kind of talk about your experience growing up in Toronto.
Yeah, well, growing up in Toronto, it's very, first of all, it's a melting pot, so it's very like multicultural, and we were like, I would say we were the first, we were like mid-tweener, first and a half. There was like a bit before us, a generation, but like we were the first generation that was like living in Toronto and like having to adjust and having to see everything and like the lifestyle and seeing it, and being from immigrant parents, it was like we were test dummies.
Mm-hmm.
To be honest, we were the test dummies. Like we were the ones that went outside, that got into problems, that had to figure out what's going on, that had to fight for our identity. I feel like that's the biggest thing in Toronto. Like the Somali now and the Somali then, it's two different things.
Absolutely.
Right now, Somalis have motion. We are the motion. The motion in the ocean is to be Somali. Don't get it twisted. If you hear Toronto, you hear Somali. We got the motion.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely.
back then, we were like little fish in a big sea.
Yeah.
Like we were trying. Everybody's like, "What are you?
Yeah.
What are you? Like, are you black? Like, what do you like define as? Are you Arab? Are you brown? Are you black? What color are you? What do you define as?" And we had to like literally. I feel like that was our biggest struggle.
Absolutely.
And that was like the biggest problem coming up.
You know, another thing too, adding on to that is like, if we're talking about like our parents kind of settling down in Canada, a lot of people don't necessarily talk too much about like how different it is having to raise your kids or basically growing up in a country where it's very foreign to you. You know what I mean? And then for some parents, there's a brother of ours that actually done a documentary about parents who ended up migrating to Canada, and basically they had a different profession. Like, for example, doctors, lawyers that end up coming here, living completely different lives in Somalia, and then having to come to Canada now, being taxi drivers, Uber drivers. You know what I mean? So the thing is like, I feel like with a lot of different people, specifically like Somali people growing up in Canada, it's hard. You know what I mean? Finding jobs, getting an education. So sometimes they just have to settle for whatever they got. You know what I mean? So I understand what you're saying.
100%.
You know what? One thing that, like, me, I have an older brother, like, around your age. And one thing for me is, like, I looked at all his mistakes and I was like, okay, I'm not going to do that. You know what I mean? So it's right. Like, especially you guys are kind of like our older brother's age. You know what I mean? You know, not to age you guys, but I'm saying, like.
Listen. Listen, if the young people look this good at this age, y'all did all right. Y'all did all right.
No, but basically, no, for real, like, a lot of guys, like, OSAP Bala, that was a thing.
Oh,
like,
100%.
a lot of mistakes. I was like, okay, for sure, I'm not doing that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So, like, I'm saying, like,
Our friends OSAP ball out.
We know them guys.
you know what I mean?
We know them guys.
Yo, like, you have to pay it back, brother.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
We don't understand
I think
that.
the guys didn't understand that. You know what I mean? So that, you know, alhamdulillah, like, I looked at that, I said, I'm paying it off right away, you know? So, you know, we're really grateful from learning from your mistakes. You know what I mean? And, like, how do you see that? And then now, you know, you're, like, the lead of the outreach, especially for Smile for Sache, for the boys. Like, do you feel like that's where your passion comes from, of, like, telling them, yo, don't do OSAP Balo? You know what I mean? Like, do you feel like that's where it comes from?
Honestly speaking, like, I grew up in a neighborhood in Toronto where things weren't always sweet, and you know what I mean? Before anything, they'll tell you, like, the way to make it in life is, you know, sell a pack, play ball. Like, you know what I mean? We're beef in this neighborhood, they're ops. So, like, you were brought up in a lifestyle that's not like our life. You know what I mean? We grew up in a Muslim household. We grew up in a Somali household. These are not our morals. These are not our values. So when you're hearing all these things, it, like, contradicts with your life. Because, like, you're sitting there, like, wondering, like, is this really what life's about? Is this what's going on? So with that being said, like, that in itself was, like, a struggle that I had to personally go through, because I had a lot of friends to this day that either passed away from gun violence. A lot of friends that are in jail to this day with big charges that are doing years and years. And I still pick up their phone calls and we have conversations. But it's like, with all that, you can learn. You know what I mean? All those things are like lessons. One thing I learned in life is, like, you don't have no losses and you don't have no failures. You only have lessons. Everything's a lesson. Everything I do now is because I learned from my friends' mistakes and people I know and family members, and seeing them struggle and doing all this. So now when I'm talking to the younger generation, I have no problem talking to them, because I was them. I was sitting in that chair. I was sitting in a room. I was trying to figure out my life. But the difference between me and them is I never had me. I never ever had me. I never had somebody telling you there's another way. Yo, go get this job. Come, let's go work on your resume. Like, there's so much beautiful programs happening that are helping these kids with resumes, taking these kids to ball games, taking these kids, showing them about trades, having Somali professionals. We're having Somali professional events.
Yeah.
You think I saw Somali professional when I was young? I ain't seen no Somali professional when I was young. I saw a professional taxi driver. Like, let's keep it true. Let's keep it gangster. I saw them I didn't see them in the fields. I see them now.
Yeah.
But now, like our age group, like there's so much of us that are professionals that are doing great things, and like you guys are an example. Like don't ever look at yourself as not an example. Doing this, sitting here, and even doing this podcast, there's kids that are gonna watch this and be like, yo, they look just like me, and they're sitting here and they're doing this. Yo, let me get a couple of my homies and let me do a podcast. That's literally how it starts. Like everything we do is an example, and what we got to do is shine the light on the people doing the positive and take the light away from the negative. Once we shine the light on the positive and we bring around good role models, the right people, and show them to these kids, because at the end of the day, one thing everybody forgets, they're kids. They're not grown-ups. You can't look at me and tell me a 15, 16-year-old's a crash out. That guy didn't live life. At 56, you have so much life to live. That's the beginning of your life. So if you made some stupid mistakes, yes, you made some stupid mistakes, but once you see someone older and you have a conversation and you continue talking with that kid, you got to bother them sometimes. I'm the guy that bothers you. I'm the uncle. I'm Unc.
Yeah,
all the
okay.
kids call me Unc because I just bother them. You know what I mean? They put up a new Instagram post. I'm on their Instagram post. Yo, what's going on here?
Yeah.
What is this? Because they do the 0.5.
Yeah.
Like, what is this angle?
Yeah.
What are you doing? They're like, Unc, you're behind. You don't know what's
You
going
don't
on.
understand what's going on. Huh?
You know what's funny about that?
I'm telling you guys, I'm locked in.
You know what's funny? That happened to me.
Yeah.
When I was in grade 12, man, this is a low light, but basically, I took an Instagram picture, but I had a little sweater hanging off the shoulder. Right?
Okay.
Right? And then I was like, yo, this is hard. And
Yeah.
then my boy was with me. He's like, bro, this is
Not
this
it.
is what the guys are doing, man. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
It was
Okay.
not it.
And then I posted it, and then 10 minutes later, my brother called me, delete it right now. I thought I said, he's like, this is weird, bro. Stop being weird.
Yeah.
I deleted it.
Like to us, we don't understand it.
Yeah.
But it's like we're just trolling because we don't understand it.
Yeah.
We're not trolling from a place of we know what's going on. We're like, I'm out the loop.
Yeah.
I don't know what fashion is. I don't know what's cool.
Yeah.
These kids are telling me now. I see everybody in oversized tees,
Yeah.
oversized hoodies. I'm saying, we bring back the baggy stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I can do this. I got some stuff in the closet. I used to be that nigga.
The echo.
That used to be me. You know what I mean? But just making sure that we don't take away the fun from it. You know what I mean? Have fun with them. You know what I mean? Making the jokes and having these conversations and showing them that you're just like them helps you have the deep conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because even us, when we're doing the camp with the boys and we go there and we sit with them, we take them out the city, it's an escape. Because these kids are coming from so much backgrounds, so much different backgrounds, so much different struggles. We don't know their home life. We don't know what their everyday life is like. But for those 4 or 5 days they're with us, oh my God, we having the time of our life. They are trolling us. They are throwing water at us. We're playing unlimited games of Mafia. Alan knows. Every second, every 20 minutes, yo, can we play Mafia? Can we play Mafia? And it's like just the littlest things matters. Those small things, and then seeing us laugh with them, seeing us play with them, and then seeing us organize these things, like it shows like that we care. And once we show them we care, that's when they open up. That's when you can help them. That's when we can put in the work that we're putting in. It doesn't happen overnight. All of this is built through work, hard work.
Brick by brick.
This is literally brick by brick, every day by day, because these kids become your family. And forever you'll take care of your family.
The thing is, like with every good situation, there's always comes the haters. You know what I mean? Always the people that are speaking down on you, not necessarily understanding, what you're trying to accomplish. So for somebody watching this right now, they might be looking at us 3 people working with youth and being like, you know what? The gun violence on a rise. You know what I mean? All this bad stuff happening. What's the point in working with these youth? Because everything's just continuing to go down. What do you say to those people? Like with your own experience with youth work yourself, like what do you have to say to that?
I feel like honestly, if you can help one person, then you helped enough.
Mm-hmm.
So people are always gonna talk.
Mm-hmm.
When we were bringing out care packages downtown to the people in Toronto, people were like, "Why are you doing that for the people in Toronto? You should be feeding people in Somalia." And then when I feed the people in Somalia, she's like, "Oh, but you should be feeding the people here." So like, no matter what you do, people are gonna say something about it. So like, obviously the better you get at doing things, the more haters you're gonna get, and that's okay. Like people are they're gonna hate.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
you gotta keep on doing what you're doing. Don't let these people affect you. If I let all the words and all the things that people said about me affect me, then I wouldn't be here sitting with you right now. It's cringe to post on social media. Like when I first started posting and sharing my story, people were like, "Oh, like." Now people come to me, they're like, "Oh my God, we love what you're doing." And I'm like, "But you weren't saying that before." Like, or keeping receipts. I remember. But yeah, like I just feel like if you can help one person, like that's more than enough.
Absolutely.
And and that person can help somebody else. So when I look at these kids, like we were on set the other day, we did like a little documentary proof of concept, and I brought one of the boys, I brought Zayd on it. And he messaged me right away, and he was like, "Oh my God, that was so cool! Thanks for giving me big opportunities like this." And then he was in the PlayStation commercial too, so he's just like, they had the motion. Like these people are commenting on the PlayStation, like, "Oh my God, is that you, Zayd?" And then they're literally like, "Yo, send me that video, send me that video." I'm like, "I got you, I got you." But like, it's those little things. So at one point, if you keep on helping a few kids, other kids are going to want to tap in because they're like, oh, I can be a part of it. There's so many people that I met right now. Like, we had our first session a few weeks ago, and I'm a little bit of a pessimist sometimes. So I'm like, no one's going to show up. Like 30 kids showed up. Wow. And I was just like, oh, yeah, it's lit. Yeah, they're coming.
Yeah.
So it's stuff like that. So, yeah.
I would say another question that I had was like, what's your greatest memory? With Smile for Sache, you guys were talking about the camps. So give us like a highlight moment, something that you'll never forget, or something that's like a key thing for you that you'll always remember.
It's kind of deep.
That's what we love to hear, this deep stories.
So last year we're doing Feed the Fasting.
Okay.
And
where was this?
In Toronto. So we're doing Feed the Fasting in Toronto, and we're doing basically charity on behalf of people who've passed away from gun violence or just people's family members who passed away. So like you said today, when I came in and I was all bubbly, like, oh my God, hey, thanks for being here. I do that in Toronto.
Okay.
So some girl walked in, and it was the third week, and now I'm kind of like in the groove. So I'm like, hey, is it your first time here? Because the worst thing that she could say to me is, I've been here before, And after seeing so many people, everyone looks same, Like we're all wearing black abaya, black hijab,
Yeah.
So she comes in, and I'm like, hey, is it your first time here? And then she's just like, yeah. And now I'm like, oh my God, shout out to you for putting yourself out there. Congratulations. It's a big deal coming outside in Toronto and putting yourself out there with people you don't know. I was like, good job. Shout out to you. She's like, don't make me cry. And I'm like, no, really, like, that's so amazing. Like, you're so cool. Thanks for coming out. She's like, no, seriously, don't make me cry. And then she's like, you don't understand. My grandfather and my cousin passed away, Allah Harista, and I didn't have enough money to go to their funeral, and this is the only way I could give back to them. And then she started crying. So I'm like, I'm never stopping doing this. I'm never going to stop, because if I didn't ask her that, I would have never known. And if she didn't come, I would have never known how impactful this is. So when we come to different cities like Minnesota, Ottawa, London, UK, it's like, you don't know who you're impacting. So I think that's the most that's why I do what I do.
How about for you, Shirwa?
Honestly, my greatest moment, was last year too. But it's also deep because last year I was able to facilitate a program at the camp. Usually, like the first year, I just chilled back. We had facilitators come in, to work with the boys and everything. Last year, I was able to like implement my own thing, and Allah entrusted me with that. So I was thankful for her for giving me the opportunity. And we did an activity, and once we did the activity, when we were doing it, like, at the beginning, like when I was doing it, I'm like, maybe they'll be engaged, maybe they won't. So they did the activity with me, and it was like a really deep activity where I just got them to understand how their parents feel. So once we finished the activity, we had like free time, right before food. So me and the boys. Tell them the activity. Yeah, the activity? Okay, so the activity was I had them all sit together in groups with their friends. I said, all you guys sit with your friends. Everybody sat in tables. They clicked up with their friends. Yeah. And I said, write down all your dreams, everything you want to do with your friends, every dream you guys have, no matter how wild, how big, everything about it. They did it. They wrote it down. Then I said, all right, give me back your sheets. It was like 4 tables. I took all their sheets. I took their sheets. I folded them up. I put stickers on each table of different colors, red, green, blue, yellow. Then I put them all, I rearranged them in different groups now, but with all people they don't know. So every table was like 4 or 5 kids that don't know each other. They've met on this camp, but they have like no real connection. And I told them, from now on, this is where you live. This is your neighborhood. You're going to grow up here. You're going to have children here. And your life's going to start from here. And all those people that you knew and everything, forget about them. They don't exist. Now they all live in their own places. So now what I said to them was, now you guys have all grown up. And I made sure I picked 2 people that were really good friends. I said, now you've grown up, you've both grown up, you've had children, you've had families. Your child from your neighborhood has gone to this other person, your best friend's neighborhood, and you and your best friend live in totally neighborhoods in other sides of the city. So let's say Scarborough and Toronto. You guys live 40 minutes away from each other. So you haven't seen your friend in a while. Now your son goes to this neighborhood and they have problems, and he goes and he shoots your best friend's son. I said, now I want you guys, the two people, I want you guys to have a conversation. They just looked at each other. They had nothing to say. I said, why don't you guys have anything to say? Like, you should be able to talk. You guys are best friends. Remember, you guys grew up together. You guys did everything together. But now you live in different neighborhoods. But now your child did this to his child. But this is your best friend. You guys had dreams. You guys had aspirations. You guys were going to take over the world together. But now your child has killed his child. I said, okay, you guys don't want to talk? Tell me how you feel. I was talking to the one that had their child killed. He said, I'm angry. I said, okay, how about you? The one whose child did the killing. He said, I'm ashamed. I'm like, so what are you going to say to your friend? He's like, I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. And then I just looked at them and I said, this is what your parents go through every day. You guys are killing each other without knowing that your parents may have been best friends back in Somalia. They may have grew up in the same neighborhood. They may have been, their families may have been tight as ever, thick as thieves. And now you guys have grown up and you guys don't know the family history because one person lives in Scarborough and the other mother lives in Mississauga, and you guys never met, but they were the best of friends. They used to run around all day, every party, every neighborhood, every beach. They were there. But now you guys have done this deed, and your parents have to see each other at janazas. The first time best friends see each other is at janazas. And now you have to tell your best friend, I'm sorry that my kid killed your kid. I said, that's the conversation Somali parents have to have every day in Toronto. And that's what you guys are putting your parents through. And I said, now you guys get to live a day in your parents' shoes. And they're just sitting there, and they're quiet. And then, it was a tense moment, so I'm like, yeah, let's break it up. Let's go. We're about to eat food. Everybody going upstairs. So everybody went to their rooms. So I'm staying in the house. Allah put me in the house with the boys. So we're all upstairs. So I'm in my room. Like 8 of them are in one room. They say, yo, sure, we'll come to the room. Okay, come in the room. And they're just like, yo, that was crazy. Like, I really, really, really felt that. Like, I don't know what it is, but like I've never understood what my parents are going through, and I've never understood what another parent's going through. And that moment right there is just like, it's a lot. And they were opening up to me from every angle, like about their life, about everything that's happening. And I was like so happy that the wall that was up the first day now is totally shattered. So now we're just having conversations, and they're being candid, and they're telling me about their life and their struggles and the things they're going through. And now this is where the work begins. Now this is where they've given me trust. And that trust that they gave me and they entrusted me with is everything. This is what I do it for. So now I know how to help them. Now we're having a conversation what they need help on. And from then, it was just a brotherhood built. And that was my greatest memory. And those are my little brothers. To this day, they bother me. To this day.
No, that was deep.
That was very deep. That was very
And
deep.
especially coming from guys, they don't open up easy.
Absolutely.
So that's a big task to do.
100%.
Especially young guys, they have like crazy, like,
They have
say
that
toxic-
wall. They
Yeah.
have that wall. They have that wall. That's
Yeah.
it's very hard to break because they're growing up in these times where they're told you can't be emotional. You can't feel none. You got to be real. And being real involves no emotions. It means everything that happens, you charge it to the streets. You can't. Nothing's hard. Everything's you're a man up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Thug it out.
Take it to the chin.
Take it to the chin and go. You know what I'm saying? And then now, like, the online media is not helping. You know what I'm saying? Now they're saying, oh, these boys are growing up. Oh, the sassy man era. So now it's like, how can they even be emotional?
Yeah.
Can't choose even a path,
They're not giving these kids a choice. So now they're getting the same thing. It's like the struggles that we had. Now they're hearing it from all angles. But when they're talking to you and you're in that space and there's no social media and they're away from the city and they're away from all the BS, it's like, these are the moments. These are the moments where the work's done. The work's done in the dark. You know what I'm saying?
I even see even judgment too. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people do certain things because of like the perception of others, you know? Like I might look like because Ismail basically is with me, I might act in a certain different type of way, you know what I mean? Based off that. So a lot of times it's like based off judgment, especially with youth, a lot of times they'll do things that is even out of their own character just to show like, I'm not going to get punked off or I'm not going to do this, you know what I mean?
We could say, like, for example, a lot of people, this is their first time seeing you. You know what I mean? They're saying, okay, tag team duo, LeBron D Wade right now or something, right? So, so
LeBron.
you guys, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything. I'm not gonna say anything.
Hey, I got no problem. I'll throw the lob.
You
She
throw
can
the-
dunk it. It's the goal. I am not,
That's the
I'm
goal.
here. I'm
She's
here.
40, huh?
I know who I am. I know. We're winning championships together. I'm okay.
No, but so for example, a lot of people they're like probably listening to this. They're like, "Yo, these guys are real. How can we support? And what's next for you guys?"
How can we support? Honestly, you can check out our Instagram. You can find us an angel investor so we can do more work. But honestly, just showing us love, giving to us dua. That's the best thing you could do for us. Give us dua. And yeah, we just want to continue doing this work on like a high level. You know, we've done so many things without a lot of support. So I'm just looking forward to things that we can do with the right resources.
Absolutely.
So if we did this like off the strength of just getting out the mud, like I can only imagine what we can do with real support. So yeah, just tap in with us. If you have any ideas, if you have just anything for us, just let us know. Hit us up on Instagram, Smile for Sache.
They can volunteer too as well in Toronto. if they
Oh,
live in
of
Toronto.
course. We're always open to volunteers. Like, we want people to come. This is not just for us. You know, like the first post we ever had was Smile for Sache. And you swipe and it says Smile for blank. So this is for our future doctors, future entrepreneurs, future lawyers, future... Just, it's for all of us. So that's why I really want to push the narrative of this is for our community. If you come to us, we are going to make you feel included, wanted, appreciated, and that's all. That's what community really is, you know? It's not about, you know, status management, who can tell people what to do. It's more about how we can help each other. So, and for what we have planned this year, you just have to stay tuned.
Okay, mystery. Can people get the hoodies? They're kind of fire.
Yeah, where can we find them? We need all the
We're going to
hoodies.
do drop shipping soon. Just
100%. Okay,
just
okay,
right
okay.
now they're in our
We gotta be-
trunk.
Yeah.
You know, we're...
Getting out the mud. Listen. Every hustler started out the trunk. You know what I mean? Every good hustler, you guys know, started out the trunk. But we going to get everything set up.
Absolutely.
And we going to get you guys right.
Absolutely.
Don't worry. All
Absolutely.
flavors.
For sure.
We
for
change
sure.
it up. Summer, spring, we got all flavors. Don't worry.
And for this year, we have something special planned for our like merch. I had the pleasure of going to do Umrah this year, and best experience of my life. If you're watching this, just buy your ticket and figure out the logistics later. That's my advice. And if you're invited by Allah, it's literally like the best experience I've ever had. So I want to do that for others. So inshallah, if we sell all these sweaters at the end of the year, we want to take some youth to perform Umrah.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah, that's a passion project, and may Allah make it easy for
Ameen,
us.
ameen.
May Allah provide for us,
Ameen.
inshallah. And yeah, it's. I don't have anything like. I just hope inshallah happens.
Inshallah. It will happen.
It will happen, inshallah. But where are the next like locations? You said Minnesota. You probably mentioned it's Minnesota. For the other viewers, that might be.
So this is probably gonna drop while we're in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
So if you're watching this, come outside
Yeah.
on the
Be outside.
15th and 16th. Message us on Instagram. We're going to be in Minnesota for the weekend. And then on the 20th and 22nd, inshallah, we'll be in Columbus, Ohio. And on Sundays for the rest of Ramadan, we're going to be in London, UK.
Wow.
Yes.
Is it the whole team?
We have people in London, UK
Okay,
supporting
okay.
us, but I'll be in Ohio and Minnesota, inshallah.
Okay, inshallah.
I just want this to grow to be a platform where we can give sadaqah on behalf of our loved ones.
Absolutely.
And we did it for 3 years in Toronto, so I want it to be something that we leave. Like next year, you guys got to do this. Like this is for our community. This is for us to come together. Like you guys met so much people today, and you know you would have not met these people because we all go to the mosque together, but does anyone talk to each other?
Absolutely.
You know, like everyone, we're in a generation of if I don't know you, I don't know you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we need to break those barriers because you can meet your best friend. There's no such thing as 10-year gang. Like it is like we can meet our brothers and sisters now.
Yeah.
So if we're in these places and we're all here for the right reasons, come
The
outside.
craziest part about it is the brother who helped us with all this setup. We just met him.
We just
today.
met him today.
Shout out to Ahmed, man, behind the
Shout out.
camera.
Absolutely.
If you guys see the crazy upgrade, it's shout out to Ahmed.
Ah,
Man.
shout out to
Appreciate
Ahmed,
it, man.
You put a lot of work
But
in.
that's
I
what
mean?
it is.
Yeah.
It's about meeting new people, allowing them to receive you and receive them. And that's what I want for all of us. Put ourselves out there. If you guys don't put yourself out there, closed mouths don't get fed.
Absolutely.
No one's going to give you an opportunity. You have to go get it. You know? So That's what I'm pushing right now. Put yourself out there.
Mhm.
You know,
We need a smile for Sache in Ottawa. That's all I
Trying to
gotta
have
say,
smiles
man.
everywhere.
we're gonna
Absolutely.
do it. We're gonna do it.
No, but honestly, Jazakallah khair for you guys coming on. You know what I mean? Especially a guest speaker.
Absolutely.
I guess the guest speaker. The guest
Should've
guest, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna lie to you, you do look familiar. We might have to talk soon. You know what I mean? You know, off camera, okay. No, but you know, I don't want our viewers to start crying anymore. You know what I mean? Let's end on a high note. Well, I really appreciate you coming.
Absolutely.
And you know, appreciate everybody here. This is actually a live audience, so you know that's why you notice a little sweat coming from the forehead and stuff like that. But you know, hopefully you guys do amazing in your America tour.
Inshallah. We wish you all the best.
You know what I mean? And you know,
Inshallah.
well, thanks for watching 2.5 Mollies.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.